Yeah, I was going to talk about diversity, so. But this is not the topic. The topic are diversities, because there's an opposition. To promote equality between men and women, name women as directors, have men in areas where women are a majority, enable gays and trans to be visible in the workplace. It's difficult when you face people who have religious conviction. And for human resources person, and Véronique could confirm that it is a very difficult moment for the leaders. How do I manage such a team? Now, if you look at the top 10 of all the big organizations, whether private companies, public institutions, NGOs, trade unions, the 10 leaders of at the highest level, there are not many black people, not many people from Northern Africa, not many Arabs, homosexuals, visible, no people, handicapped people, or people with a disability. Well, I know one person who is the Secretary General of a big corporation, but that's the only person I know. I don't know about you. So what's the image we are giving to people in the room? I can't see you because I'm blinded by the floodlights, but aren't you surprised that these people rather go to startups and to the new economy because there everything is possible, nothing is closed, you work, you feel like it, that's it. But even if you do this in a conventional setting, then things get much more difficult. There's another paradox. Social networks which enable us to assess our identity or convictions. Well, this is a binary. It's 1 or 0. I like it or I don't like it. I follow this person or I don't. I am a friend or I am not a friend of this person, which means I create a community of interest in which I feel good. But since the social network algorithm push the tweets from the people you know, you're only meeting people who tend to agree with you. I chose a couple of years ago, some of you know the number of associations I've engaged with, I decided to tweet, follow, and ask as friends people who are really very different from me, who are disturbed at what I represent, who have political views that are really so different from mine, but enables me to read and listen things that are very interesting. And this brings you back to the real world. But it's probably the best way to go about it, because 1 or 0, where's the 3? This is a very, can we go on living with people who are alike? How can you wonder about things, enrich your world if you're only living with people who look like you? It's a question for all of us, you and me. You are different, younger people, older people, probably gay people, maybe trans people, all of you. We all have our prejudices because we are the product of our history, culture, social area, political, religious conviction, and this is what is at the heart of us, and this is what we need to overcome. Very often people tell me, what's diversity? Okay, back to the word diversity. There's only definition as far as I'm concerned. It's stop looking at looks, go beneath looks. Of course, well, there are main factors. We are all consumers. Most of us work. In such an environment, I think we need to listen to intelligence, that we can go beyond what structures us and might give us a bad impression about something, and get over. I realize I have prejudices because sometimes I judge somebody because of the way this person behaved or what this person said, and it's very easy to go too far. But when you're a sentient and an intelligent person, when you're lucky enough to live in a country that, despite everything, is democratic, I'm happy to be a woman, a gay woman who was born in the last century. It would be very different if I lived in a country where I would be repressed for what I am. Well, this still works in France, and that's positive. So I think we need to create relationships and create links and not be fooled by appearances. I agree with what Véronique said. You know, to get out of your comfort zone at the FACE Foundation. We work with a number of companies, and there's not a club here in Le Havre, but it might change. But I remember something, an organization called Un but pour l'emploi, an objective for jobs, with kids who play football, who don't do so well at school, who think a company is a swear word. We thought that they must realize that what they do for fun, to play, can be useful in a company. Of course, when you play a team game, you need to follow rules, you need to work together, you need to listen to your trainer. You need to be able to accept defeat, you need to analyze your failure. This is about real life. And what we did, supported by a European program, we created a football and skills program in order to make them aware of the fact that they could do the same thing at work. And of course, we'd establish links with companies. We helped them discover the world of companies. I can tell you that after these programs, they had a different idea about companies. And those workers who'd helped and who'd felt, they were good doers before going to these difficult neighborings, they had learned to see the things differently. And for kids from these difficult neighborhoods, enabling them to stay who they are. Many of them don't have any diploma. They don't know what a CV is. But now when you meet somebody, you know what this person can become. And so this is also a cultural work by people in charge of human resources, and this is what we worked on. Also, when you talk about companies, you talk about performance, strength, courage, and this is the opposite of a vulnerability. Is vulnerability a weakness? But there's somebody who works on abandoned resources. You have positive, normal, conventional resource, and you have abandoned resources. They are people you have, people with disabilities, people with evolutive diseases, evolving diseases. You think it's going to be difficult for them in 5 years. He's not going to stand this job. But if you knew the energy that people with disabilities invest in order to appear to be like the others. It's a bit like the homosexuals and lesbians who are not visible at work. They have to invest this negative energy to hide what they are, because they don't want this to be seen. And this is something you see very often in people with disabilities. Now, let's see the positive side. Of course, if you want to go towards general interest, if you want to talk about well-being, everybody wants to have more well-being at work. But my well-being is not possible if there's no well-being for the others. And in order to have well-being for those people who are different from what I am, we all have to accept that we are different, that maybe we are forever opposite, maybe we'll never be friends, we'll never be able to exchange, but we need to be able to accept the other, which will mean change the references, whether you're a woman, a gay person, Arab, Asian. You need to accept to go towards the other. I accept this, and this is what I spend my time doing. But I think most of you can it can be a situation for most of you. At least we need to be able to create some consistency, some cohesion at work. At work or at school, you cannot choose who you are living with. You can do it in your private life with your friends, but you cannot do it at work or at school. So it would be a nice place to start. And there's something negative in France. We've invented a word that's called communitarism. There's not you talk about community in English, you talk about LGBT, Afro-Americans, Asians. These communities exist, but there's not this word communautarisme, which was created in France to complain that people who are alike seek each other. But of course, if you reject me, I'm going to look for people who are alike and who are like the same things. So the debate about same-sex marriage was a controversy which was really lagging the situation in society, and was led by people who found it difficult to project themselves. Some people said, why have a specific wedding for gay people? No, this is not the objective. Let us not enclose people in communities. It's not the people of the communities who are in this. It's people who are outside these communities. And my conviction is, and it produces effects, that it's probably the men's task to defend women, the white people's task to defend black people, homosexuals to defend Arabs, and straight people to defend homosexuals. And that will be much better. We will not be listening to the person because of his or her personal vested interest, but it will be much more efficient because it is not your vested interest if you defend others. And people then will think, yes, I need to think about it and question my prejudices. Thank you.